Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you're well. It is Monday, the 3rd of February 2025. Scottish independence will be achieved when the people of Scotland demand it. Not when Westminster permits it, not when a political party finds the right strategy, not when the media stops trying to undermine it. When the people of Scotland make it undeniable, that is when it will happen. This is why we must stop waiting for a single solution, a single leader, or a single defining moment. We have everything we need to move forward, but only if we unite the three essential pillars of the independence movement: the political pillar, the international pillar, and most importantly, us, the grassroots pillar. Each of these pillars strengthens one another and they shore up the independence movement. The political pillar demonstrates that Scotland can govern itself and governs better than Westminster. The international pillar pushes for recognition, exposing the barriers that Westminster places in our way. And the grassroots pillar, us, delivers the message, mobilising support, ensuring that independence remains live and vibrant in the hearts and minds of the people. If these three pillars do not work together, we risk stagnation, fragmentation, and indecision. Today, we're going to talk about the first pillar, the political pillar. We need a strong pro-Scottish Holyrood at the foundation of our governance. Not because we should rely on politicians to deliver independence, but because they must show that Scotland is already governing effectively, despite Westminster's restrictions. The point of devolution is not simply to manage Scotland's affairs within the Union, it's to expose its limitations. It's to show the people of Scotland that independence is not just an option, but the next logical step. A government that is competent, accountable, and socially just does more than administer. It demonstrates that Scotland is ready to take full control of its future. We already see the difference between a pro-Scottish government and one that's controlled by Westminster interests. Free prescriptions ensure that healthcare in Scotland is based on need, not income, unlike England where charges still continue to rise. Free university tuition has saved generations of students up here from the crushing debt faced south of the border. The baby box scheme is a small but powerful symbol of Scotland's commitment to social welfare, something Westminster would never prioritise. Even within the limits of devolution, Scotland spends more per capita on the NHS than England because our government makes different choices. When Westminster cut welfare, Scotland introduced the Scottish Child Payment to protect vulnerable families from Westminster's bad decisions. These policies are not just talking points, they are real tangible improvements in people's daily lives. Proof that Scotland already governs itself better than Westminster. And yet, these powers are still limited. Imagine what could be achieved if they weren't limited. This is why the political pillar matters. Every competent decision taken in Holyrood is a reminder of what is not being done in London. Every successful policy exposes the gulf between Scotland's priorities and Westminster's. Every time Holyrood delivers within the limits of devolution, it forces the question: if we can do better with restricted powers, why are we not already governing ourselves fully? For some, frustration within the political pillar comes from the belief that it is not moving fast enough, that the leadership is too cautious, that independence is being used as an electoral tool rather than an urgent goal, that Westminster's continued resistance is not being challenged hard enough, that confrontation, not compromise, is what is needed. And while these concerns are understandable, allowing them to divide us only strengthens Westminster's grip. Independence is bigger than any one party. Disagreements on strategy should never weaken the broader case for self-determination. Every fracture in the movement gives unionist parties an opening. Every division allows them to present themselves as the stable alternative, even when their policies work against Scotland's interests. Pro-Scottish Holyrood is not just about independence, it's about protecting what has already been achieved under the glass ceiling of devolution. The alternative is clear. A Holyrood controlled by unionist parties would not only halt the independence movement, but begin to roll back the process of devolution. A government aligned with Westminster would prioritise austerity over social welfare. It would push Scotland's NHS closer to the privatised model that England seemed to be going for. Free prescriptions? Gone. Free tuition? Gone. Welfare protections? Reversed. Scotland's priorities, Scotland's values, would no longer be dictated in Holyrood, but be dictated from London. Make no mistake, if Scotland allows itself to be governed by those who take their orders from Westminster, the independence cause will not just stall, it will erode. This is why voting for Scotland in 2026 matters. It's the first opportunity to show unity, not for a party, but for the country itself. Not to protect politicians, but to protect Scotland's ability to govern in its own interests. It's not just about what Holyrood can achieve, but what it can prevent. Pro-Scottish Holyrood is about more than just independence. It's about ensuring that Scotland is governed by those who put Scotland first. Every year that Scotland governs well under devolution strengthens the case for independence. Every year that Scotland outperforms Westminster's policies makes the argument clearer, even for those who are undecided. The question becomes obvious. If Scotland can govern itself successfully under devolution, why shouldn't it have the full powers of a normal, independent country? If Scotland's already making better decisions in Westminster, why should we allow those decisions to remain limited? If we can accept that Scotland can govern itself, then surely the next step is not whether it should govern itself completely, but when it should start governing itself completely. I think that is pretty obvious. So over the weekend, a poll came out that showed that there would be pro-Scottish majority in Holyrood in 2026. 74 MSPs with their bums on the seats in Holyrood would be pro-Scottish, made up of 51 SNP, 15 Green, and I think it's 8 or 9 Alapa. This is brilliant news. The only downside is that I believe that 9 seats are going to be reformed, but we can work on that. We've still got over a year to go. But still we're up against our own people that believe the only way is SNP 1 and 2. Now, I am an SNP member. I'm a conference going person. I believe in the party, but I'm not a zealot. I understand that there's a bigger picture in the political pillar that we all need to be aware of. And that is, we must allow the good governance to continue, but we also need to deliver a pro-Scottish opposition, because right now we don't have that element in place. If we have a pro-Scottish government and a pro-Scottish opposition, it demonstrates clearly that Scottish values are different from the Union's values. And the only way to deliver that is to examine the best way forward for 2026. In my opinion, we should be voting SNP 1 and 2 in the borders and up north. But see all the other voting regions, we should be voting SNP 1 and any other indie party for your second vote. Why is this? Well, in the description of this video, you will see a link to a video that I've made previously. And this video is actually the slideshow that is used by the Scottish Government to educate children on how the additional member system works. This is the definitive facts on how it works because it comes from the government itself. There is no toing and froing on this. This is how it works. We need to educate ourselves on how the additional member system works. Please go and have a look in the description of this video. You will see the link right at the top and use it. Watch it. I've done a voiceover for it, so you don't even need to click through the slideshow. I'll also put the link to the slideshow on the actual description too, so you can see that it comes from the Scottish Parliament website. I'm not making this up. There is no toing and froing with like if the percentages are closer to each other, we'll get more seats, and if we just all vote this, we can have it en masse. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And if we stick to the political hegemony of one party being the dominant party, then we're not going to deliver a pro-Scottish Holyrood. And that would be a shame. Because right now, we need to change and we need to evolve in a positive manner to do something different. Because if we don't, we're not going to gain or see independence in our lifetimes. Our children will inherit the cause and it'll be more difficult for them to win. Tomorrow we'll be looking at the international pillar, where we will actually examine what they're doing and what can be done and how we in the grassroots can support it. And on Wednesday, we'll just look at the grassroots. And then on Thursday, we're going to look at how we can tie all three pillars together and push forward for independence. I hope you can come back and look at these videos. They're probably some of the most important ones for independence as a whole. Thank you for watching. Have a great Monday.